All right, in this explainer, we're jumping straight into Dr. Vernette Grant's expert guide for really mastering Otter.ai. And we're going way beyond just hitting the record button. We're talking about how to turn this tool into a serious automation partner, especially if you're in a demanding field like healthcare AI or strategic consulting. So, right off the bat, Dr. Grant challenges the way most of us probably think about Otter.ai. Her whole point is that if you're only using it to get a text file of a meeting, well, you're leaving most of its power on the table. She says the journey to mastery starts by flipping that mindset. So, what does mastery actually look like? Well, according to Dr. Grant, it comes down to these three things: automation, to get rid of all that busy work; structure, so you can actually organize and find your knowledge later; and collaboration, to share intelligence with your team without a hitch. This framework, this is the key. Okay, before we get to the really powerful features, we have to get the basics right. Here's Dr. Grant's 4 must-do steps for a solid setup. First, create separate workspaces. Think folders for your different projects. Then, use channels for your regular teams so everything's in one place. Number 3, sync your calendar. This lets Otter just automatically join your meetings. And a big one, set up your notifications so you're only getting pinged for what actually matters. Dr. Grant also lays out the best way to capture your audio depending on where you are. If you're in a virtual meeting, her advice is simple. Just let the Otter agent do the work for you. But for in-person stuff, the mobile app is your friend. But, and this is key, you've got to use a decent microphone to get a clean transcript from the get-go. Okay, so you've got the foundation built. Now it's time for the fun part, unlocking the features that Dr. Grant says really separate the casual users from the true power users. You know, one of her biggest pro tips for getting rid of those annoying transcription errors is to build a custom vocabulary. This is a game changer. If you work in a field with a ton of jargon, like healthcare or AI, you can add terms like FIR or RAG, and even the names of your key stakeholders. The difference in accuracy is huge. So you have a nice, accurate transcript? Awesome. But let's be real, it's still just a big wall of text. The next, absolutely critical step in Dr. Grant's process is figuring out how to turn that wall of words into something you can actually use to make decisions. And her technique for this is all about active engagement. So instead of just passively reading, she says you should be highlighting specific things either during the meeting or right after. Think about how powerful this is. You can then filter your entire meeting history by just the decisions or just the risks. It's incredible. And this right here, this is the habit that makes it all work. Dr. Grant calls it the 10-minute rule. The second a meeting ends, you spend just 5 or 10 minutes cleaning up the AI summary and double-checking the action items. It sounds small, but doing this consistently prevents a massive backlog and makes every meeting's output useful right away. And that brings us to the final stage of her roadmap. This is where Otter.ai stops being just a tool you open sometimes and becomes this fully integrated, almost invisible part of how you and your team get work done. To make it feel automatic, Dr. Grant gives us this super simple, practical checklist. Honestly, you should think of it like a pilot's pre-flight check for your meetings. You run through these 6 steps every single time, and you'll build those best practices into muscle memory. Now, this is a really important mindset shift that Dr. Grant talks about. No AI is perfect, right? So she says you have to treat Otter.ai like a super fast, super efficient assistant that gives you a first draft. It's still your job as the expert to review and polish that draft before you send it out as the official record. So where does all of this leave us? Well, if you follow Dr. Grant's framework, you've completely changed your relationship with this tool. It's not a recorder anymore. It's become a strategic partner in your workflow. Yeah, the big takeaway is that evolution. You've literally gone from just capturing words to building a system that automates your notes, structures your knowledge, and makes collaborating with your team way faster and way more effective. And to wrap this all up, Dr. Grant leaves us with this really powerful question, because it's not just about mastering a tool, is it? It's about rethinking how you work. So now that you've got this framework, what part of your workflow is ready for a transformation?